The problem is, whatever you do with human beings, of all the material that you can consecrate in the world, the easiest material to consecrate is human body. But the easiest thing which will turn around tomorrow morning and say something else to you is also the human mind. If one has brought their mind to a state of unquestioned focus towards something, then it becomes a possibility that you could consecrate that body to a very high level of function like a divine entity. You must understand this. Whatever is referred to as sexuality is not about sexuality. Nature is instigating you to reproduce. In modern societies, people have made it out as if it has a purpose of its own. Yes, people are using it to bind themselves to each other, but fundamentally the longing in the body is to reproduce. If this was not there, we wouldn't be here today. The next dimension in the 7 dimensions is naturally Swadhisthana. Swadhisthana means the abode of the self. So when one masters one's Mooladhara, either it can move to a very stable body or a certain drunkenness of experience or heightened levels of perception. If one has used it for stability alone, then Swadhisthana becomes a very strong abode of regeneration and pleasure. If one has used it to drunkenness, then Swadhisthana becomes an abode of a certain sense of bodilessness, which cannot be compared to becoming like thin air, but a little distance, because the abode of the self is established in a higher level of pleasure than the rest of the body, then there is a little bit of separation. It is like people pride that in certain parts of this country, oranges come where the peel and the fruit are separate. There is a certain sweetness in the fruit which is not there in the peel, but they are one inside the other. Without the peel and the connections with the peel, this sweetness would have never happened, but they are separate. So this separation will happen, a certain sweetness of the self, but body will be little loose on it. This will give a certain freedom from physical drives that human beings tend to have. If one has used it, if one has used Mooladhara or the Amrita to heighten their perception, then Swadhisthana also functions in this way and further enhances that possibility, because when energies are dominant in Swadhisthana, one becomes far more alert to life around. When Swadhisthana sadhana is done, it gives you a certain freedom. The word, in this country, the freedom movement was referred to as Swatantra. Swatantra means… Swatantra means a technology of the self. Swa is self, Tantra means a technique or a technology, a way to become free. Because the biggest bondage is in the way we are reproduced, and the biggest urge is the way the urge for reproduction binds people in body, mind and emotion. So Swatantra means Swadhisthana and Swatantra connected, that you have found a tantra to release the self from these kind of troubles or these kind of compulsions, because now yourself is totally free. There have been many beings who have used swadhisthana to specific goals. One of the important aspects of swadhisthana is, if your swadhisthana is established in a certain way, your ability to create. At the lowest level, it's purely reproductive. At the highest level, you can create a god if you wish. Now, this must be approached carefully. It's not about creating a creation, you can create that which you consider a god. The technology of god-making came from this because somebody has absolute control over the swadhisthana and one can establish what is considered a divine entity. When this happens, when you start creating these things, well, many who created divine entities generally felt creating one divine entity was good enough and they gave it all and they're left with it, or they gave it all and became dissipated because of that. Some retain the possibility of doing more. Only if all the other dimensions are on, one can deliver a god. If your swadhisthana is on, you may deliver a baby, or you can deliver a god. You can deliver a god and still live and still maintain potency only if all the other six are equally active. Only then one can do this. The swadhisthana or the swatantra, the tantra of making the self free, this is, you have created a certain flexibility to your life energies that it is no more bound by the compulsions of the body. When I say compulsions of the body, to keep this body alive, you have to invest a certain amount of energy, otherwise it will not stay alive. To keep this body healthy and capable, you have to invest a certain amount of energy. Without it, it will lose its capabilities, it will lose its capacity to do things. So, if you have to deliver a god, you have to invest all you have into it, otherwise a divine entity will not be a possibility. So there are many aspects to this, but among all the things that you can do with your swadhisthana, the most significant thing is just this, that you can deliver a god. Well, somebody delivered us, that is also important. We are not saying that is not important, that is also important, that's why we are sitting here. That is also an important aspect, but the highest level of delivery would be delivering a divine entity. Many things were done, even now it could be done, is we could prepare. It is… the problem is, whatever you do with human beings, of all the material that you can consecrate in the world, the easiest material to consecrate is human body. But the easiest thing which will turn around tomorrow morning and say something else to you is also the human mind. If one has brought their mind to a state of unquestioned focus towards something, then it becomes a possibility that you could consecrate that body to a very high level of function like a divine entity. But most people in today's world are not able to manage that focus every 2 days. Am I doing the right thing in my life? Will come up. Whether you are in marriage or in brahmacharya or in spirituality, this has become the worst calamity that's happened to modern society is this, that they cannot stay focused on anything, they keep… Because the entire culture has become, what will I get? Once what will I get is there, you cannot stay focused on anything. You will be focused on this, then suddenly a question mark will come, what will I get? Maybe there I'll get more. this scavenging mind will keep on moving from here to there. In this it becomes difficult. So one dimension of Swadhisthana is also this, that if you allow or if you strive to take Swadhisthana above its natural compulsions, which are essentially regenerative, you must understand this. Whatever is referred to as sexuality is not about sexuality. Nature is instigating you to reproduce. In modern societies, people have made it out as if it has a purpose of its own. Yes, people are using it to bind themselves to each other, but fundamentally the longing in the body is to reproduce. If this was not there, we wouldn't be here today. But if you're wanting to go somewhere else other than being a cycle of life, other than being a natural cycle of life, if you want to go beyond the cycle, then transcending these dimensions become important. This use of Swadhisthana is a very complex and a fantastic process. It can be done with rituals, it can be done by using the body, it can be done by using pure energy. Three different ways of doing it. Swadhisthana can manifest at its highest even through the body or through raising the energies in a certain way, by using external substances, by using body. When I say external substances, generally in Tantra, there are three fundamentals. These are called the lower, the middle and the higher. They're called Kaula, Mishra and Samaya. This… what it means is, one uses external substances because you have no control over your own system. You use other substances, there is a system of using these substances through which you can generate a certain level of what you could call as an energy which functions at a higher level than you, which could be referred to as a divine entity. So Tantrics have created various deities which stand up and walk in their own way through ritualistic process. He himself may not be personally evolved in any way, but he has understood the ritual and he sticks to the ritual. And because he sticks to the ritual in the way it should be, suddenly something else stands up. You can see this happening in certain temples in India. The priests are just sticking to the ritual. They themselves may not be personally evolved in any way, but they have stuck to the ritual, they have been taught never to alter the process, just stick to it. And suddenly something new happens, a burst of energy happens there. This can be created, but it cannot be consolidated and made to walk for a long time. It cannot be made to live through generations of people and stay alive. If it has to live that way, one thing is to do it through your body. If you use your body and do it, it will live a certain length of time. But if you use pure energy and do it, it will live a very long time. We can say almost forever, because in human experience, if something lives for 10,000 years, it's as good as ever. So, it can live for a few thousands of years if we invest a certain amount of energy. Of all the things that we can do in this system, Swadhisthana is among the most complex and beautiful way of doing things, but it is also personally a dangerous way of doing things, because if you do too much of it, you may have yourself, but you may lose your body. A beautiful self, but no body. This may happen to you if you go too much on it or if you lose control over it.